All right, Seton, what's poll question we're going to start out with this first hour?
Well, I was thinking of Anthony Edwards after last night, and it's being compared to Michael Jordan, right? Or being compared to Michael Jordan is awesome or a burden?
Well, it's a pretty heavy crown that they're going to try to place on you at age 22.
That they've tried to place on many.
Even Reggie Miller yesterday said, look, you can't help but watch him and think, wow, he's got certain characteristics. But then Reggie did say he kind of reminds him of Dwayne Wade with a better jump shot. And I thought that was more accurate because Wade was such a slasher when he first started. And then you wondered if the physicality and the number of times he went to the floor, he would have a sustainable career. Then he did develop the jump shot. You're not slashing as much. But Anthony Edwards, at least in the beginning parts of his NBA career, has sort of the embryonic characteristics of more Dwayne Wade. I know we're waiting for the next Jordan. We're waiting for the next Tiger. We're waiting for the next Muhammad Ali. It's not happening. It's just not. There's just a different variation of greatness there. Now, to say he reminds you of Jordan, okay, he's explosive. Mike didn't do anything playoff-wise, didn't have a great team those first, 5 or 6 years. In fact, I think today's the anniversary of his jump shot over Craig Elo as they got out of the first round, beating the Cleveland Cavaliers. But I think what we're looking at is a very talented player at a very young age, and sometimes you don't see it coming until it's right there. The youth movement. Oh, it's coming. No, it's here. Look around the league. It's here. You got a lot of 30-year-olds, but they aren't playing the way they once did because they're in their 30s. The NBA is being taken over by players in their 20s. Like it feels like Jason Tatum's old. What is he, 25, 26? Like Luka's been around forever. What is he, 25? That's what happens. It's quick. You turn around and you go, oh my gosh, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is a legitimate MVP candidate. Anthony Edwards. Here's Tatum at 26, Luka. I mean, the younger players coming in and the impact that they're having, certainly on these playoffs. You know, you got LeBron is out and KD is out and Steph is out and the younger players. You know, Joker's not old. Was he 27? Maybe. Jamal Murray. He's young, too, although he did not have a good night. Well, nobody had a good night last night. Here's Michael Malone, the Nuggets head coach.
A loss like this is tough. You feel embarrassed. You feel exposed. So what are you going to do about it? You know, that's my biggest thing. What are you going to do about it? Look yourself in the mirror. Have the courage to look yourself in the mirror. Say, I did not do my job tonight. And be better next game. That's all I can ask of them.
There was a moment early, first quarter, Mike Malone comes onto the floor. I mean, he's out at the free throw line. And you can see Anthony Edwards going, that's a tech. That's a tech. And it should have been. He just storms right out on the court. Jamal Murray's going to hear from the home office that he threw a heating pad onto the floor.
A heating pad?
He tried to throw a towel onto the floor. So he'll be fined. I don't know if he'll be suspended, but he'll hear from the league office. But we'll talk to Brian Windhorst about that. I get it. If I'm Anthony Edwards and he said, look, I don't want to be compared to Michael Jordan, because it's not fair to him. Because you know what that brings about? If they don't win, now it's a disappointment. They have been one of the more surprising stories. He's been one of the more surprising stories. Now all of a sudden you're the next Jordan and people are going to go, well, what happened? Well, Mike didn't do anything. He was a highlight reel when he first started out. And then he realized, hey, I can take less money. We get better players. I got a better coach now. Now you have to deal with us. Well, Anthony Edwards already has a better team than Mike had those first 6 or 7 years, 5 or 6 years. And he's taken advantage of that. Karl Anthony Towns, a quality big man. Rudy Gobert takes care of the defense. Naz Reid is wonderful. I mean, they have a good team. And it's a really, really good defensive team. And you get that feeling when you're watching Denver that somebody may have cracked the code. Now, it's only 2 games. But I said this after game 1. This isn't, an aberration. Minnesota's here. Now, that doesn't mean they win, but Minnesota is here, and they certainly have Denver's attention, let alone the rest of the NBA's attention. Because if you said who could come out of the West, I said Minnesota. They could play for the championship this year. Now, we got Dallas against OKC. That could be a great shootout as well. But games coming up tonight with the Celtics a big favorite in Game 1, and the Mavericks will be at the Thunder. What other poll questions do you have there, Seton O'Connor?
Well, we kind of half-heartedly threw one out yesterday with the Timberwolves-Nuggets series. After one game, who do you got? Mm-hmm. If you were to bet right now, Paulie threw this one out this morning.
Okay.
If you were to bet right now with the series 2-0, who do you got? Who would you bet on?
I'd take Minnesota. But I would have taken Minnesota after Game 1 because I said I will not be surprised if they win this. Now, do I expect Denver to come back and beat Denver? Well, they better, because you hope that you're able to get back to Denver. I mean, you can't lose this next game, because if you do, then Minnesota is going to win this. But I think Denver, this is where you're going to see desperation time. Early results of the poll question, Seton, if you could do the honors for me. We'll get a couple of phone calls in here. Brian Windhorst of the Mothership will join us coming up next hour. Seems like there's a lot of candidates for the Lakers head coaching vacancy, but I don't know if people are using that. Well, I'm sure they are. It's like Jason Kidd. Hey, I don't know, the Lakers, here's a contract extension. Ty Lue, I don't know, maybe I'll go across town. Here's a contract extension. So I don't know. We'll talk to Wendy about all the candidates here. All right, Seton.
Being compared to Michael Jordan is awesome or a burden? Right now, 54% of the audience say that it is a burden.
I agree. I agree, because now our expectation level has been raised considerably. It went from, man, their Timberwolves are really good, aggressive, young, fun to watch. Now it's, all right, Ant-Man, let me see what you can do. Well, Michael scored 63 in the Garden. You know, it's right. I don't want to put even more pressure on him. Although it feels like he's okay, or he could handle it, he doesn't want that title right now of, hey, you remind me of Michael Jordan.
And this is where he's really starting to have to talk about it.
Well, there are a lot of golfers where they go, hey, that swing is like Tiger's. Well, you're not Tiger. You can have a swing like Tiger's. Anthony Edwards can have game that's similar to Mike's, but we know the bottom line with Michael is winning championships. Tiger was winning championships. Hey, you remind me of Tiger, the way you swing. Okay. Now what happens on Sunday afternoon on the back nine? Oh, yeah, that's right. You're not Tiger. And Anthony Edwards is not Michael yet. But Michael wasn't Michael until whatever 6 or 7 years into his career. Yeah, Paulie.
You guys mentioned it a while ago, but the bad part is shows like Dopey Shows can compare him to Michael Jordan and low-hanging fruit. But the fact that he gets asked about it is unfair to him, because there's no way to win. No matter what he says, it gets critiqued. And also, you watch how it plays out on social media. I saw when he talked about it the other day, people were like, what is this kid doing comparing himself to Michael Jordan? Yeah. Comparing himself. He was answering a question he shouldn't have to answer. Yeah. It's irresponsible to the media to put him in that position.
Well, I think, okay, let me, since I'm in the media, if I was going to ask him a question, it might be, what traits do you have that are comparable to other players who played the game? Let me hear him. And if he brings up, you know what I learned from watching Michael Jordan is that fadeaway. That's what I'm trying to master. But
the problem, Dan, is you're not in that room, and there's a bunch of other dopes who are forcing the thing so they could write their column with their comparison.
Well, yeah, if he says, I'm Dwayne Wade is who I admire. Well, that doesn't resonate if now all of a sudden he says, maybe I'm the next Michael Jordan. Now all of a sudden you've written hundreds of columns and you've programmed, talk shows forever. It's not fair to him. It's a compliment, but it's a compliment that you're not really ready for right now.